All I'm saying is that I am seriously examining all the options that are available to me in the present situation, of which one, again, as we always say very dutifully, depends of course on the party, whether the party will give me the ticket to contest this the seat again. But if the party were to so decide, that would be one option. And there are other options, and I will have to weigh all the options in my mind.
What exactly are the other options?
No, I don't want to go into all that now, because frankly, the whole point is that the options are in one's mind, and once you go public, then they cease to be in your mind, and they become objects of public discussion. All I can say is that I have not been somebody in my entire working life who has asked for anything, but equally I have never been somebody who has shied away from an opportunity or a challenge to make an impact. That's literally from my childhood. I remember as a child in school having to ask the question, why do you think we all exist on this planet? And I said the only reason must be to make a difference. Otherwise, why bother? And so if you are going to try and make a difference, then seize the opportunities that enable you to do so. And I've never shied away from that. So let me see what the opportunities are, and I will then, in due course, when the time is ripe.
Can I ask a connected question? Like, you know the question and I know the answer, but still, both AAP and BJP are very keen to rope you in.
But they're not the only ones.
Oh.
But the point is that, I have the great inconvenience of having ideological convictions. And those convictions go back way before my entry into politics. My books, I published my first book in 1981. Reasons of State. So for 41 years, I've been laying out a fairly consistent vision of the world, which is, for lack of a better term, a liberal vision. And I am, in that sense, an old-fashioned liberal. I don't go around judging people. I don't go around telling people what they should be. But I do go around trying to work for what I believe is my vision of a better society, a better world, a better policy, a better anything. That's the kind of effort that I'm prepared to make. And I've done this and I've written things when doing so put me at odds with what is now my party. Because, for example, I was very critical of the emergency. I was very critical of many aspects of the state control of the economy, all of which I have written and published, so I'm not going to deny them. In fact, I still remember that when I first contested in 2009, the CPI would place a very prominent lawyer, later a president of the Bar Association. In all these public debates we would have before the channels, he would be sitting in the front row with a copy of the Malayalam edition of India from Midnight to the Millennium. And his first question would be to read out some nasty thing I'd said, about the emergency or whatever. To which my answer was, listen, I stand by my words. I meant everything I wrote, but I'm not fighting the elections of 1977. I'm fighting the elections of 2009. To which he really had no better answer. But he would still come at the next debate and again read some other. Except that the truth is my track record is there. It's a paper trail. My books are all in print. You can find them. I can't deny anything I've said, and I've stood by everything. My worldview has been what it is. But the truth is that the Congress Party post-91 on the economic front, and throughout, I would say, on other fronts, has been a party that I found congenial, and that's why I'm with them. So a party that doesn't share some of the same ideological premises would probably not be an easy place for me to fit into. Because as you all know, I tend not to bite my tongue very often. Once in a while I'll keep silent, but I will not say anything I don't believe in.
Okay, so can we rule out BJP? I mean, from what you said.
I think that's pretty obvious. And in fact, if I were in the BJP, I would not invite Shashi Tharoor to come and join us.
So, but AAP is still there. That option could be a possibility.
Look, I have respect for many parties because each in their own way has their own good qualities. In Delhi, we are opposed to AAP. I'm not going to sit here giving them an endorsement and then being accused of anti-party activities. But I will say some of the work they've done is good, and the service delivery aspect. We've seen the same with 2020 in Kerala. If you can deliver services to the public effectively, that's not a bad thing. I don't think that we should knock that. When it comes to other parties, and there are other regional parties in the country which may choose to have national aspirations, there are parties which have got broadly the same sort of ideology as the Congress, because they've at some point spun away from the Congress. And you know which parties I'm talking about. So it's difficult to say that ideologically there is an incompatibility, because very many parties in our country share broadly the same orientation as the Congress when it comes to the mixed economy, foreign policy, political democracy, freedom of the press. I mean, you name sort of 10 touchstone issues and there'll be 10 parties that claim to adhere to all of those. So in that sense, the idea of India, so-called, I mean, I've often said, when people say, what gives you or anyone in the Congress the right to talk about the idea of India, my answer is it comes to me from the Constitution. My idea of India is the idea of India embedded in the Constitution. That's what it's all about. So in that sense, as far as I'm concerned, I would say to you frankly that all the parties that subscribe to that same ideology would be compatible. So it's not that I'm going around with a litmus test that only applies to one or two places. There may be many possibilities. But right now, I still have hopes that the Congress will turn out to be the right vehicle for advancing this dream of India. But I'm very conscious that you can have all the right ideas and still not be an effective vehicle. Or you can be a very effective vehicle for the wrong ideas. And that's frankly what we're seeing in many ways with the ruling party today in Delhi.
But if you want to come back to Kerala, do you think you will be welcomed here by the Congress state unit, given the equation you have with them?
Who are? I mean, the Congress is all of us, right? All of us who work in the Congress are in the Congress.
So state leadership, to be specific, the state Congress leadership.
The current state leadership has an excellent relationship with me, and for that matter, so do the previous.
As an MP, but not as a Kerala leader.
Well, I have not claimed to be a Kerala leader. I've only claimed to be an MP for Thiruvananthapuram.
So, are you happy to spend the next 5
so
years
far.
of your life? But the next 5 years of your life.
Why do you want to lock me into some narrow straitjacket? We're talking about the last 13 years. I've been MP for Thiruvananthapuram.
Because we all believe you deserve a better space. Not just a
your
random
political
MP
career seems to be stuck.
Exactly.
You are in Congress, you are an MP. But beyond that, and where is Shashi Tharoor headed? We would like to know.
Let me just say, Shashi Tharoor is not likely to stay in a rut for very long. But let me leave it at that.
Right now in wrong party.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I hear that too often and for too long. I might have to take it seriously.
You are part of the Bharat Jodo core team. And even after that G23 revolt and all, Rahul Gandhi keeps a very close relationship with you.
I don't know that that's frankly, relationships with individuals have their own ups and downs and they have their own character. I wouldn't go around claiming any particular relationship with anybody. But all I can say is that, or for that matter, any bad relationship with anybody. As I say, I'm a non-judgmental kind of guy. I don't go, have you ever heard me bad-mouthing anybody? I just don't go around playing this game of attacking people. When attacked, I will usually smile and move on. I'm not somebody who frankly believes very much in that kind of politics. That's simply not me. It's not even that kind of personal relationship. Frankly, I've been through a phase in this country's life when a lot of people I knew were saying things behind my back. And I decided that you could either wallow in depression about it, or you could just say that, that says more about who they are and how they think than it says about you. As long as you know who you are, you're anchored in yourself and you have a clean conscience and you know what you're doing and what you've done and not done, let people say what they want to. At the end of the day, we can't constantly be living for others. So do the right thing and do the thing right.
Another option, the Congress president election are upcoming. Why can't you be a candidate for the presidency?
Let's wait for the elections to be announced and see what the options are there also. I'm not saying necessarily that I would necessarily be a candidate, but I would say that I hope there'll be if, as seems more and more likely, the sort of heir apparent chooses not to be a contestant, then others will come forward and we'll have a good set of choices, I hope.
You were part of the G23. What exactly is the current position? Are you still part of that?
This is frankly a bit of a media myth, the G23. It was a letter drafted by some of our colleagues, which some of us were invited to sign. And in many cases, it was simply because during the COVID lockdown, we happened to be in Delhi, or we could go through Delhi, or some of us could go through Delhi, that we were able to sign the letter. There were not just 23, there were perhaps 100 people who would have willingly signed the letter but didn't come to Delhi during the lockdown period when the letter was finalized and issued. So it is not, and nor has it remained, as you know, a particularly coherent group with any organizational entity or any leadership or any regular meetings or anything like that. There were a group of people who met. The composition of that group shifted from time to time depending on things. And as you know, at least one or two of the signatories are no longer in the party, and one or two have dissociated themselves from it overtly and publicly. And as far as I'm concerned, I signed something because by and large I agreed with its contents. There was one sort of contradiction within the letter that I was not happy with, and I said so. But I was told, look, 7 people already signed the letter before you, so we can't change it now. You take it or leave it. And I felt that some of these things needed to be said, so I signed it. And one of the things that needed to be said was that the party was too important for the future of India to be allowed to drift, that it needed some serious revival and institutional revival within the party. That I still stand by, and I think it was an effort to strengthen the party, not to weaken it. And it was an effort to have a more effective Congress, not to undermine it. If it was misunderstood by some, then I think it's a pity, because I really think it was a sincere effort at a time when, especially after the drubbing of 2019, a lot of people were in the doldrums. We were anxious to see us coming out of the dumps and moving forward in a positive way.